Thank you.
So welcome everyone. The first slide, I think, tells you the content for today, the purpose, which is really helping businesses within the Cotswolds attract the romance and travel market. And Chris, did you want to say a few words before I dive in? And
of course. Good morning, everybody. Good to see some of you from our last session and some newbies as well. So this is a part of the mini-series of workshops that Unmissable England and the Retail Practice are delivering on behalf of Cotswold Tourism, Cotswold District Council and West Oxfordshire District Council as well, all about improving how you reach your audiences. And this one's obviously very targeted. But what we wanted to do this morning was just give you a refresh, a recap on what happened in our previous session. I will say we did record the last session, so Sally's going to put in the chat a link to or how you can get to that previous webinar. If you're watching this webinar and you haven't seen the first one, then watch the first one because it will help you immensely, actually taking you through the different stages. But as a recap, we want to show you just quickly on some of the things that we covered. So before we do that, John.
Yeah. I can do this, Chris. So as Chris said, we'll start with a recap on the first workshop, very high level, just the bullets, really, the outcomes of that content. But as Chris said, the whole recording is available to you all. But in this session, what we're going to share is what couples crave, what they're looking for, ideas on how you can position your offer, how to market visually and emotionally, which clearly for this market, this sector and what you do is absolutely vital, tapping in to key occasions, and how to partner smartly. So not partnering in the romance sense, but partnering with other businesses. We then have a short piece around beyond hospitality, because clearly hospitality comes to mind when you think of romantic getaways and breaks, but there are lots of businesses beyond hospitality that can benefit from this market. There's a few learnings from the big platforms, so the likes of Booking.com, B&B, etc. And then as a 2 to 3 page checklist of making it happen. So in marketing jargon, what we call activation. Really, it's just making it happen. To recap on the first workshop, we started by getting everyone to think about the difference between marketing and advertising. There is often still confusion between the two, and you throw in branding into there as well. And it can seem quite a complex world. The simple way to think of it is marketing is everything you're doing. It's your product, your pricing, your competitor set, your audiences, the services you offer, your USPs, what makes you special. And the advertising is simply how, I say simply, but it's how you attract your audiences and hopefully get them to engage and convert. The second point that came out was really, what do you offer and who for? So be really clear on your role, your audience, and then show it and prove it. And that can be as much at the value end as the high-end luxury, or even somewhere in the middle that's more specialist. Building on that really was the point that focus matters. It's very challenging to attract everyone. So be brave and be niche. And certainly my own experience of running my own agency since 2010 is the more niche and specialized I've become, the more we've achieved success for both ourselves and our clients. But you have to be brave and often make sacrifices, but do be brave and be niche where you can. work with the seasons. Clearly, the nature of this industry, the nature of the sector has to roll with the seasons, and the UK in particular, they're very changeable. And make off season a strength. Don't just discount, but be creative with it. So, an idea that perhaps came to mind was banishing the January blues, playing in and turning some of those things into positives. So some further recaps from the first workshop, your website and your social media presence and potentially your email. That's your shop window. Digital is your shop window. And certainly on your websites, in 5 seconds, maybe less, can visitors tell who you're for. And important for you to remember, most of those visitors will be viewing you through a smartphone. So I think you'll all be familiar with the term mobile first. Can't quite remember the exact stat from last time, but I think in the tourism industry, it's about 60% of page views are via a mobile. So get that right first. Leverage the Cotswold brand. Very fortunate to be where we are. It clearly stands for quality in many ways. It has a timeless charm, but now increasingly it's a contemporary destination too. And within social media, which you use now, you'll use probably increasingly in the future, be human and share stories with real authenticity. Clearly, we could write many books on social media marketing, but just having that in mind about being human and storytelling and authenticity will serve you well. Remember that proof builds trust. So reviews and testimonials do matter. And thinking about the quick wins you can do, because often it can seem a bit overwhelming with so many channels and so many things to think about. Just remember to keep imagery updated, keep it on season, tweak your copy a bit, logistics way, simplify everything, your booking process as much as possible, respond to reviews. So the key thing here for me is regular incremental actions can make a big difference. So I think the American term is, don't try and drink the ocean or something. Do regular, small, incremental improvements, and you'll get to a much better place. And then finally, in the recap, connecting back to social media, focus on quality, not quantity. A big one, and it's very tempting to chuck out loads of posts there because it can be very low cost, but quality is the key. Aligned with that, use less social platforms but do them well. So is it TikTok or Instagram